living in stacks and chains, being trained with who knows what kind of crap at home. Bungee cords we know about for sure. Soaring is still a thing. Hey everyone, I'm Deanna Corby with Deanna Corby Dressage. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by and for subscribing. And if you're brand new to my channel, good chances that you've heard about me from another fellow equestrian YouTuber, Raleighlink14. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to Raleigh and all of her subscribers for joining me in discussing the abusive practices seen in the big lick industry. I've had a lot of questions recently all about big lick, and I just wanted to try to address some of them here in this video. A lot of people have no idea what big lick is and what it means or any details. So I just wanted to share a little bit today what I've learned from talking over the years with big lick competitors and trainers and judges, and kind of share with you my point of view about the big lick industry. If you know me, you probably know that I am not whatsoever a fan of this style of riding. The big lick is a discipline, and I say that word loosely. The big lick is a discipline within the Tennessee walking horse breed, their show circuit, and it's considered their most elite, best moving, best performing horse. They compare their big lick classes and their big lick horses similar to the Grand Prix classes in dressage.
Close circle around that inside hind. Enormous amount of lateral movement in those half passes. Fletcher just finds the steepness of the half passes called for in some of the prescribed tests so easy.
But the thing about creating a Grand Prix horse is that that takes 6 or 7 years, and the big lick has classes featuring 2-year-olds, and so there's not a whole lot of time taken training those horses to be at their what they consider their highest level. Speaking of 2-year-old classes, I'm personally highly opposed to competing 2-year-olds, especially as they carry, fully grown men. wearing 12-inch shanks, bits, and of course their famous stacks and chains. In my opinion, a 2-year-old should be in the pasture, getting handled daily, and maybe getting introduced to a saddle. But he shouldn't be traveling all over the country, all over the Southeast, competing with all of the garbage that they put on these horses. I know that there are other disciplines that show and compete 2-year-olds, and I don't think that's okay either. You know, over the past couple of years, as I've been talking about the big lick industry, the first argument is always, what about dressage? What about the abusive practices seen in dressage and in hunt seat and in Western? And what about horse racing? And what about this? But in my opinion, big lick is the greatest of all offenders. There's no other discipline where we see 2-year-olds carrying giant men, living in stacks and chains, being trained with who knows what kind of crap at home. Bungee cords we know about for sure. Soaring is still a thing. Now, the big lick industry says that they have about a 99% compliance with their regulations. But, you know, 99% is not enough. And by the way, what about all of the people that don't compete and they stay at home? The backyard riders, the backyard trainers that are trying to make their horses look like the competition horses in big lick classes. What about those guys? What are they doing behind the scenes in their own backyard? What are they doing to their horses? That's what I worry about the most. So we've got these young horses wearing stacks and chains, having giant men ride them, rowel spurs, 12-inch shank bits, and these men clearly don't ride very often. They're holding on to the reins for their balance. I just don't get it. There are so many better ways to showcase the Tennessee walking horse. The Tennessee walking horse is a great breed, very versatile, very kind by nature, very forgiving. Big, beautiful animals. There's so many better ways to showcase this breed other than this. You know, not only are these horses ridden in the stacks and the chains, but a lot of them are kept in these stacks year round, 24/7, 365 days a year. And if you're competing in big lick classes, it's very important that your horse not have any boo-boos on his legs, or else they don't let you compete. So you keep your horse wrapped up, standing on his stacks, wrapped up, his legs all wrapped up and protected. Keep him in a stall all the time, unless you're riding him. What kind of life is that? To stay in a stall 24/7, 365 days a year. A stall where you use the bathroom. So basically you're living in your own bathroom and that's your whole life. To not get groomed by other horses. To not roam and walk and move the way that we know horses need to do. What kind of life is that? A lot of people say that, well, what about the other show horses that stay in stalls? Well, I don't know about you, but I compete my horse. I'm a competition judge. I see a lot of horses competing in the dressage world. They live outside 24/7. My horse does. My trainer's horses do. and they're all FEI horses, Grand Prix horses. You can compete a horse that lives outside 24/7, or at least most of the time, if that's allowed at your boarding facility or if you have the space. That's a thing, people. Next, I want to talk about what Raleigh was talking about on her channel. She said that she feels alone and that she's really the only equine activist talking about things that aren't okay going on in the equestrian world. And I understand that. You know, I don't have as big of a channel as Raleigh does, and I feel very alone when I'm talking about the abusive practices seen in the big lick industry. I have other trainers that say, yeah, good job, but I don't want to say anything. And I understand that. It's tough to put yourself in the limelight and sign yourself up to receive hate mail, which is basically what Raleigh does on a daily basis. It's what I've been doing the past couple of years, focusing on the big lick crap. And it's tough. It's not for everyone, but when you stand for nothing, you can fall for anything. And if we don't hold ourselves accountable, other equestrians accountable, then things get way too out of hand, like they have here in the big lick industry specifically. If you see something, say something. Ask questions, at least. Educate yourself. Do research. Learn and draw your own opinion. But if you see something that looks off, and you don't know about it, you don't know why, ask, tell, do something, say something. You know, I really believe that we're not going to change the minds of the current big lick competitors and supporters. You know, they've been going strong for many, many, many years now. But maybe with this generation coming up, we can express to them and share with them that this discipline requires no skill, and it's based off of putting all kinds of gadgets and heavy equipment and artificial aids that don't even look like they belong in a barn. It's based off of fear, traditionally. You know, fear of, oh, I don't want to be hurt, so I'm going to lift my legs up really high, soaring. It's based off of not training and time that it takes to teach a horse to move in a certain way, to balance in a certain way, but it's based off of solely how the action packages, the stacks and the chains, react against the horse's movement and make them lift their legs higher. If you take away the stacks and the chains, there is no big lick class. You know, with dressage, for instance, you take away the saddle, you can still do dressage. You take away the bridle, you can still do dressage. Take away the bit, yeah, you can still do dressage. Take away a whip, yeah, no problem. But you take away the stacks and the chains from the big lick classes, the big lick horses, there is no more big lick. They call it flat shod or light shod. I don't understand how we as equestrians have gotten so carried away to be so interested and to stop at nothing to get our horses to lift their feet higher. The last thing I want to talk about are the tails. When a big lick horse is headed down the competition road, when he's young, about as a yearling or so, his tail tendons are cut so that when he goes to his big lick classes and the big lick shows, his tail is more pliable so that his tail can be put in a brace, and then his tail cascades down like a magical waterfall down his butt, because that's tradition, I guess. So you're telling me that you cut the young horse's tail tendon so you can better see his asshole, and so his hair will lay a certain way. I really can't think of anything more selfish to do to a horse. Everything about this discipline screams fake and artificial and man-made. It doesn't scream respect to the horse. It doesn't scream time and patience, balance. It doesn't scream harmony. This discipline is how high can I make my horse's legs lift? So answer the questions yourselves. Are you okay with this? These classes are being held in public facilities. Your tax dollars are paying for these classes to be held. Are you okay with that? If not, you need to contact these facilities and tell them what's going on and that you're not okay with it, and that big lick classes should not be allowed there, especially 2-year-old classes. These are baby horses. Help me by bringing more awareness to this industry, sharing it with the younger generation, sharing it with your friends, telling other people what's going on. Most of Europe have never even heard of this stuff. Most of the US hasn't heard of this industry either. But Europe definitely has it. I have some friends in Finland, and they said they would never allow this kind of thing to go on. Well, the Southeast in the US, oh yeah. I know a lot of you want to help in the big lick industry. I do too. Beyond sharing videos like this with your friends and having an open conversation about what's going on, the best thing for you to do is to Google where these big lick classes are being held. Not every Tennessee Walking Horse Show has big lick classes, but you Google and you discover where, mainly in the Southeast, these big lick classes are being held. They call the big lick classes, they don't call them big lick, they call them padded performance, because that sounds much nicer, doesn't it? You need to put pressure on the facilities that are allowing these big lick classes to take place. These are public facilities. Your tax dollars are paying for these facilities to host these big lick classes. You need to put pressure on these facilities and tell them that what's happening is not okay. The fewer places big lick classes have to show, the better. We need to make life harder on them. We need to support the other Tennessee Walking Horse shows that don't offer big lick classes, that only offer flat shod or light shod horses and classes. So if you'd like to help, that's a great place to start. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. Again, if you're a new subscriber, I really appreciate your support. It really means a lot to me. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave them in the comment section below. I've also got a link to Raleigh's channel and her other videos that talk about this subject. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.